So today I'm going to refurbish the brake caliper. We got some spare parts here, new seals, new sliders, everything.
Hi there, we are Nikki and Gert. We are from tiny Belgium. During the 2020 COVID pandemic, we converted our own camper van, Nigel. We quit our jobs and now we are full-time traveling through Europe with our furry friends. Nala, Siggy, and Moya. Together, we are Euronauts.
So let's get going. First remove these rubbers, and then you need an Allen key to remove this one. So I removed the bolts, but it's still stuck, and that's because the pistons are still pushing against the brake disc, so you can just use a little screwdriver to push them away. Then you push the brake caliper towards you, and then here it should collapse. If this part is stuck, you're gonna have a fun time getting this off. But if it doesn't, you just tilt it up and put the whole assembly, just let it rest on the brake disc. Next we are going to clean and replace these seals. So easiest part is to ask somebody to step on the brake and they will come out one by one. Just lock in one of the two and then you can push them out. So with one piston locked in there, a little piece of wood, make sure you put something under there to catch all the brake fluid. It will pop out in a minute. Stop! You can see it is out. It's loose, and now we can take it apart and replace the seals. I then put a vice grip on the brake line to avoid all the fluid leaking out. And it's not a bad idea to keep a bottle of brake fluid behind, because you will lose some. You can just pull out the old seals. They probably are quite seized up here because of rust. We can just pull them out. Next we can pry out this inner seal with something sharp or a screwdriver. Now on the other side, the new seals were not the exact right size, so I couldn't get the piston in again. But I'm gonna try again on this side, but I might reuse this seal because you can see it's still okay. And now you can see here, this is the old seal and it just is slightly bigger than the piston, and this is the new seal, which is a quite snug fit. So I'm gonna try and install the new seal and use enough of this supplied grease and see if I can get it in there, and if it works we put on the outer seal as well and we'll put everything back together. Now before I continue, I will clean up this corrosion a little bit, because as you can see it's getting dirt on my fingers, and it will probably go into the cylinder later. Next I've installed a new seal with a lot of grease, and I'm just gonna try and put it in to see if it fits, because on the other side I really couldn't get it in with force. Tried everything, so I reused the old seals. Let's hope on this side we can get it to work. To make it easier to push the pistons back, you can open the bleeder valve right here. So also here I tried and tried, but I cannot get it in, and I think you should be able to do it by hand. I tried to force it on the other side with this guy, and I just damaged the new seals. So if anybody's watching this and actually knows what is going on here or what I might be doing wrong, please let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I'm gonna reuse the old seal, which is in good condition. Let's clean it up and reuse it. So with the old seal, it is really snug, pops in, makes a little sucking sound, so I guess that means it's sealing nice and well. So I'm gonna get it out again, and then comes the fun part and get this guy in. So to put the seal on, you just make sure everything is nice and clean. Put the dust boot over the cylinder like it is supposed to go in later, and then now we put some grease here so we can turn it. And now comes the fun part of prying this in. I'm not gonna film this because it's gonna take a long time, but so make sure you turn it around, use enough grease, and you can turn it around and see if the seal is completely in. And when that is done, we can try and push in the brake piston. There we go. Reopen the bleeder valve because there is air trapped behind it. There we are.
It's like a wet pussy.
In the meantime, you can push the piston completely back, close the bleeder valve, and have somebody push the pedal. So this is a handy bottle. I bought it, but it's easy to make. It's just a tube that goes down into the fluid, so air cannot go back in, and then you can more easily bleed the system. And I did it on the other method before, and I can definitely recommend this system. Is much more easy, even if you are with two persons. First, we have to let the air of the brakes. We'll come back to this later. Of course, remove this. Yes, now. And now we see the air escaping. Stop! We close it. And this is enough for now. Later we will completely bleed the air out of the lines if everything is in the right position again. Now with the air out of the system and the bleeder valve closed, and then somebody pushing the brakes, we can see if the seal is in the correct position. No fluid should be leaking anywhere. Now it is completely extended, and you can try and check around, see if everything is okay. I had to do it once again, and that sucks, but yeah, that's life, that's cars. So we can do the same with the other piston. So basically extend it, get out the outer seal, the dust boot, get out the inner seal, clean up the piston a bit. I'm using Dremel to get rid of all the rust, or like part of the rust, especially on the inside here in the the inside of the brake cylinder itself. So here it doesn't really matter much, there is nothing going on there, so you can clean it up a bit. And the edges around the whole thing, make sure there is no loose rust getting in there, and then grease up everything and put it back together. Then if that's finished, we're gonna do these sliding pins, which are sliding again after last time I hammered them for a very long time. And you can also see that the dust boot is broken. I didn't do it, so that's a very easy thing to do if you get them out eventually. So the next part is to get these guys out, clean it completely, and replace the buses here, or the bushings, or I don't know how it's called, sliding pins. It's also, but it's not really a pin, this one, it's more a sliding bus. And yeah, the new ones look like this. So this pin is easy, it slides, so just push it through. There we go. Easy. Okay, so the other side is seized up again. So I found a little trick last time. You take a normal bolt, or the bolt that comes out of here, if you have spare ones, because we're gonna destroy it. Then you put a nut on it and a little washer. Then you can actually hit it without damaging the rest of the sliding pin. And you see it coming, and it's still stuck. There we are. Best to replace these, as they have a coating, and if the coating is damaged, then yeah, it will just get stuck again. Next we're gonna clean up these holes. I already did it last time, get a Dremel in there. Just try to get it as smooth as possible. Put in the little seal. There we are. No grease needed. And then we take the other type of grease supplied with another kit. And I guess the one that is in contact with the pistons is like non-petroleum based, so I guess silicone, because it shouldn't react with the brake fluid. And yeah, this stuff can basically have oil-based products in there, because it just has to slide in the bus. So let's be generous with this lubey thing. There we are. And now we just push it through with the groove first, because the groove has to catch the rubber cap later on. And plop, just push it through, plop, there we are. There we are. It's nice and smooth. It can move again, and then we do the same on the other side, and we'll put the then we put the brake pads back. So we're gonna replace these ones because they are worn. They're a little too small, so we're gonna hear this the first kilometers. And then we add a little bit of copper spray, anti-seize here, wipe off any excess on the brake pad, of course. And this will stop the brake pad from getting stuck here, so it can slide beautifully to the other side. And now we push back the pistons and we put everything back together, and then first we'll give the entire thing a good clean with some brake cleaner to remove all excess stuff. Last step, put in these pins. I put on a little bit of anti-seize for next time. And then we're gonna bleed the system again, because now the bleed nipple is in the upright position, so all air would bubble up to the top.
What are you doing? Everybody's working and you're just looking at us.
So Nikki is pumping the brakes. So I'm gonna open it up, say she has to push and hold, then I close it and then she releases. And that makes sure that we won't have any air in the system. Yep, do. Los. Do. Los. Do. Los. Alright, so this seems good. Let's do the same thing with the other side. Don't forget to add the rubber caps finally, or you will be in trouble very soon again. Also, I used some copper spray the last time, some anti-seize, but I read and I experienced that it dries out and it's not really a lubricant, so this time I'm gonna use silicone paste, which should be better. So I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something from it. As you can see, we're now at the end of the Italy trip and we're both still alive. The brakes are working very well. The only real mistake I made was using anti-seize instead of silicone grease. Now, I know silicone grease is also not the right product. There is some specialized stuff to grease your brake pads, but I can tell you, after another 1000 kilometers of driving, after applying the silicone grease, there is no squeaky noise. So it works at least better than the anti-seize. I know there is probably a quicker way to do all of this, but since this was my first time and brakes are a pretty important safety feature of the car, I just wanted to go step by step and make sure that everything was really working fine. So there is probably some better ways to do it. If you have some suggestions, please leave them in the comments. So, see you next time. Bye.